Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Altius Images Drone Positive podcast. I'm Todd Dudley and I'm the founder and director of Altius Images. As a drone pilot, the negative press that drones receive annoys me no end. This podcast is trying to change the negative public perception of our multi-roted friends one positive story at a time. There are plenty of stories out there that show just how amazing drones can be, and I'll be bringing you one of those stories each week. So let's fly into some positivity and see just how amazing drones are. Today, we are heading to Elephant Island in Antarctica, where drones are being used to monitor some Chinstrap penguins. Now, sadly, the number of these penguins is dwindling on the island, and Yang Lui, a doctoral student of robotics at Northeastern University in America, is using drones to find out why. Lui is part of a scientific expedition that has sailed on the Greenpeace vessel Esperanza from Ushuaia, I'm almost definitely saying that wrong, on the Tierra del Fuego archipelago of Argentina to Elephant Island. Scientists suspect that the population of the Chinstrap penguins that inhabit the island is dwindling. Using drones and machine learning algorithms to speed up the process of counting penguins in large and inaccessible areas like this, the team is seeking to measure the decline. The islanders, which include elephant seals, fur seals and other sturdy oceanic birds, are some of the only animals that nature has equipped to live on Antarctica. That includes the small, black and white, ever-waddling Chinstrap penguins, whose loud and relentless squawking makes for one of the only other voices on the island, and for ringing ears when people hang out near them for too long. Although no human settlements exist in this part of the world, they have still had an impact on the area. The oceans, which are estimated to be taking in more than 90% of the excess heat from global warming, have been buffering the effects of climate change at the cost of overheating their waters. Scientists are working to understand the specifics of warming in the Southern Ocean, how it is changing the lives of everything that lives there, and how those conditions could affect other parts of the world. So, Yang Lui, joined by researchers from Stony Brook University, is part of a project to study the penguin population on the Antarctic Peninsula. Other populations of penguins, such as Adelie penguins, a species that lives all around Antarctica's rocky coasts and islands, are also in decline here. Scientists believe that these effects are linked to warming trends that appear to be most profoundly felt along the peninsula. Changes within the environment around the peninsula's shores might mean that populations of krill, the small crustaceans that are the Chinstrap's favourite food, are moving southward towards colder locations which are beyond the reach of Chinstrap penguins on Elephant Island. A census of the penguins here could provide an indication of the health of the ocean. Some populations of penguins are easy to count because they pack themselves into dense colonies in flat areas, but that's not always the case on Elephant Island. At a place called Penguin Ladder, penguins are scattered among the steep, rocky cliffs, and the scientists have to hike up to find them. The Chinstrap penguins prefer living on rocks, which are some level above the sea, Louis says. Some of the colonies on the top of the hills are 50 to 100 metres above the shore. The spread out population of the penguins in this hostile geography makes counting the penguins very, very difficult. For Louis, who works in a robotics lab directed by Hanyamant Singh, a professor of electrical and computer engineering at Northeastern, counting the penguins is a bit easier. He is here to perform aerial surveys using unmanned aerial vehicles or drones to do the job. Up close with the penguins and equipped with a quadcopter, radios and GPS devices to begin the surveying, he stands on soil and rock stained with patches of penguin guano. It sticks to his boots, his pants, his backpacks and everything else. But more than simply being an uninvited guest on the expedition, the feces can actually be useful. Penguins poop a lot and they tend to crowd closely together. The guano inevitably accumulates in amounts so great and so distinct that it can be used to spot potential penguin colonies with satellites. After setting the points to be scanned from the air, Louis surveys large areas with his drone to count Chinstrap fairly quickly. Autonomously, the drone flies in a grid pattern and takes pictures every 2 seconds. Those images are then processed into a photo mosaic, which gives the team a single snapshot of a large area, with the details found in individual images. That much detail is useful for counting penguins in areas that researchers have difficulty reaching. It's a process that also combines artificial intelligence to do the counting. Louis says, for sites which are too large for manual penguin counting, we use the machine learning program to count the penguins automatically. Now, these Chinstraps haven't been counted on Elephant Island since 1971, and the team's data suggests that since then, over half of the population is gone. The observations are similar to the falling numbers of Chinstrap penguins in other parts of the continent. Now, it's not all bad news. The story is different when the team counts the Gen 2 penguins, another species that lives on the island. Gen 2 numbers are on the rise, which is no surprise because scientists believe that warmer temperatures allow Gen 2 penguins, which feed on more than just krill, to thrive farther south. Louis and the team move on to a new, no less challenging location about 400 miles away. Low Island, which is exposed to open water, is very difficult to land on. The last known count here was made in the 1970s, which the scientists believe was a rough estimate because of the difficulty in reaching the island. However, using the drones this time round will allow them to count quickly and accurately and is giving the scientists a greater understanding about how climate change is affecting these animals. Whilst it's not great news that the population of the chinstraps is declining, having that information means that they can now try and do something about it. So the data being collected by the drones is incredibly useful. That about does it for this week for episode 9 of the Drone Positive podcast, a really interesting story about drones being used to survey and monitor wildlife to hopefully help with conservation in the future. Check out the link in the description if you want to read the full story. There'll be more positive drone stories like this to come over the next few weeks, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss them. And on Wednesday, we will be releasing the next episode of Droning On, in which we are chatting to Barry Alexander, who's the CEO and founder of Aquiline Drones. They were the subject of episode 7 of Drone Positive, so be sure to check out that episode if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Please get in touch with us on social media. We are at Altius Images on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find us easily enough on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. All of the links for our channels are below. We'd love to hear from you, so please do get in touch. Thank you for listening, guys. Please subscribe to and share the podcast so that we can spread our positivity as far and wide as possible. We will see you on Wednesday for episode 3 of Droning On with Altius Images. But for now, fly safe, folks. Bye-bye.